Hey, good morning, Harbor Point. We thought it would be really cool to film some shots down on the field here at Harbor Point Middle School. You can see behind me, we've got the crew out here working. And I know many of you, all of you have seen what's been going on since you got back in August, and you're excited about our new field down here. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happening down here and what our field's going to look like when this is all complete, because I've been getting a lot of questions from students. So I'm going to answer some of these questions today and talk to you about how this field works, because it's a really cool process and it's a great opportunity for us to learn about how these fields are made. One of the first questions I'm getting is this turf or is this grass? I've been getting that question a lot. And the answer to that question is it is a turf field. So Jace is gonna come over here. We're gonna look up close and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about this turf and how it works. So this is the turf that's been laid, and they spent an entire week laying the turf. And they're in 10-yard strips that they've put out on the field. On the back of the turf, it's almost like a tarp material. I don't know if you can zoom in on, can you see that okay on the camera there? So in the factory, they punch holes in. The holes are about 1 inch to 2 inches apart, all the way on the back of this surface. And so the way this is designed to work, the purpose of a turf field is that you can play in any kind of weather conditions. It won't be a lot of puddles. There won't be water out here when you're playing. So when it rains, it's going to hit the turf, the top of the turf. It's going to go through the material, through the holes, and then into the gravel, through the gravel, and then below the gravel is the most important part of the project, which is the drainage system. And many of you saw them working on the drainage system for a long time. And so the idea is that there isn't any standing water on the actual turf. Now, one of the things that they're working on, and it's a very tedious project, is they actually will sew these 10-yard strips together. And we're going to show you here in a little bit. This is a sewing machine right here, if we can get a shot. This right here is actually a sewing machine, and you can see the guys down on their knees over here, and they're working on right now making sure that these 10-yard strips are sewed together so that obviously it's a secured field. And so in a little bit, they're actually going to start sewing, and we're going to take the camera over, zoom in, and show you the sewing process. This field right now, with where we're at, is just the football field. If we pan over here with the camera on the gravel, this will also be turf. Anywhere there's gravel, it'll be turf, but this is for the sidelines for a football field and for the soccer field, because the soccer field is wider than a football field. Right now, they're just focusing in on the main part of the football field, sewing it and putting it together, and then the next process will be the sidelines for the soccer field. If we keep coming over here, another question I've been getting is this the track? Well, yes and no. It is the track, but it's not the track. This is not the final product. That's asphalt. You will not be running on asphalt. That wouldn't be real good for your legs and for your joints. So after they're completed with the field, which is going to take a couple more weeks, this is a tedious process, sewing and putting together this turf. Then another crew will come in and actually put down an all-weather track on top of the asphalt. That's the rubberized surface that you'll actually run on, and that'll be black, but then they will come in and spray it with a red coloring, and that's that pretty red color that you see in tracks. But that may or may not, the red spraying may or may not happen. It may happen here early, or it may be postponed until next summer, the actual spraying of the red surface, because that's very weather dependent. But the track will go on, and you can run on it without that red spray. So you will not be on asphalt. That track is yet to be filled in. Now, another question I'm getting is the soccer goal. Are we going to have soccer here at Harbor Point Middle School? So the answer to that question is no. They're not. The school district is not adding soccer as a sport, but we have to remember that this is a community field, and so community teams will be able to practice here. And so one of the new features of the field is that we have not only a football goal post, but a soccer rolling goal that community teams can roll out when they're playing soccer. Okay. Now, one other thing about the turf, when they're done with the sewing and done with the installation on the side, one of the last things that they do is they put the rubber sand combo on top of the turf, and that's going to give it the weight, and it's going to give it the comfort and the cushion when you're running and using the turf. So hopefully this has answered some of your questions that you've been coming up to me and talking to me about as we play over here at lunchtime and we watch these guys work. We're going to break away and come back and hopefully go over here and give you an up-close look at them sewing the turf together, which is a pretty cool process. Thank you. Bye-bye. Harbor Point Middle School. Check this out. Okay, up close here. Look at these guys. Okay, this is what they're doing for your field here. So I talked to you about the strips, the 10-yard strips that got laid out here last week. So all week since Monday, they've been out here sewing these strips together, and you can see the process that they're going through to make sure that the 10-yard strips are staying together and that the field is secure. And they're doing this part by hand. Now I do believe that they'll also use a machine as well. Is it all by hand, or is there a machine? There is a machine. Okay, so it's not all by hand. There is a machine that they'll use, but you can see a lot of you have asking, you know, why is it taking so long? Well, this is hard work. Look at this. Three guys down here, another guy down here, sewing the field together, which is pretty cool. And this is the gravel that I was talking to you about earlier, and you saw them probably leveling this out for days and days and days, because that was a critical part of the project, was making sure that the field was at the right level for the drainage system that's underneath the gravel so that it'll drain properly. So pretty cool. And then we're going to see if we can catch the actual machine go to work here in a little bit. Thank you. All right, Harbor Point, here's our sewing machine. So right now the crew this is the first part of the sewing process. They use the machine to sew the two strips together. And then once the machine is done with its work, they go back and they fill in the gaps and the repairs by hand, which you've seen on the video. This process will take about 15 minutes to go all the way down this entire length of the strip. One interesting fact about the crew out here, these guys, they do this for a living, and all they do is they install turf fields. They fly in from all over the country. Some of these guys are from Georgia, some of them are from Texas, and this is what they do. And this crew actually helped install the turf field at the Dallas Cowboys' new stadium, the football field. Okay, so Harbor Point, right now you can see the next phase, they finish sewing. So actually what they do first is they take the machine goes through and sews, and that's the green thread that you can see. Now they're going to flip it. Here we go. We're going live here. They're done sewing, so now they're going to pull the turf that's been sewed, and they're going to flip it over here and fill in this spot here now that this piece is sewed. And then over here is the piece that they just got done sewing. Okay, now they're going to line this up and get it straight and move on to the next section to get ready to sew. And we're going to hopefully be able to show you the machine they use to do that. Okay, Harbor Point, Mr. Rohrich here. One last time. We're going to end here with an interesting fact about your new field. We're standing down here on the end zone nearest the Harbor Point Boulevard Road. This is in the shot put area. You can see the shot put that's been put in here. Over here is where the shot put is thrown into. And Jace, come on over here. Jace is going to bend down and touch the cedar that's been put in here. And an interesting fact is that this is from Safeco Field, where the Seattle Mariners play. This is their warning track material, and they recycle that out throughout the year. And we just happen to get that for our field here. So this is the warning track from Safeco Field. So many of you have been asking when the field is going to be ready, and there's a lot of variables involved with that. And so hopefully within the next month, but again, a lot of that will depend on the weather and other factors, because as you can see, this is a very detailed process. Hope you've enjoyed seeing our field, and I hope you enjoy using it once it's ready. See you later.